Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of the Lady Basketball Show. I'm your host, Phil Jean, along with head coach Christina Battle, and we are going to talk. The season's just about to wrap up. You're going to be wrapping up against Dawson. You had your last practice yesterday.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to talk about, obviously, the matchup that you had against Manville High School. Tell us a little bit about that. Obviously not the first half you wanted to see, but a lot of things to build on in terms of the second half result.
It was a very challenging matchup, but we did a lot better than we did in first round. So second round is looking different, so it speaks to our growth.
Okay. The first half you guys struggled, only 8 points but that you scored. But in the second half you scored 23 points. They did outscore you. It was a 72-31 loss, but we were going to take a closer look at those highlights in a little bit. But just tell us how much, you mentioned that first time you matched up with them, it kind of went ugly. You felt a lot better about this second time seeing them.
Yes, their press is extensive. They have guards that are able to move laterally and guard very well. We had to make adjustments. We added more screens to get open so we can look down the floor. But once we figured it out second half, it got a little bit more intense.
Okay. We're going to take a dive into those highlights right after this break, so stick with us. All right, welcome back. We are talking, of course, Manville High School matchup against Alvin High School, 72-31 the final. 40 turnovers in that game, but you don't want to hear from me. Let's just take a look at the highlights and you kind of break it down for us what we're seeing.
I got you. All right, here's that full court pressure that we were talking about. Hayden's able to handle it, look down the floor. She's seeing Shay. Now we're past half court, setting up in our offense, and Shay's looking for opportunities. Has a three, and she knocks it down.
Trust me, it went through the hoop. That was one of 7 threes on the night. Let's take a look at the next play now.
All right, now we got Shay attacking baseline. Kaylin is right there to get that recovery of the shot and put it back up.
You got to love that, seeing Cheyenne be able to have the long range early on and then also then attack the basket like that.
Yes. Being able to do both helps a lot.
All right, Kaylin Griggs with 1 of 6 rebounds on the night there. Let's take a look at the next play.
All right, top of the key, we got Hayden left wide open for an opportunity to knock it down.
There it is. She called glass, didn't she?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at the next play now.
All right, now we got the ball on the other side of the court. Lila looking for opportunities. She finds Hayden. They're kind of playing off of her. She has a dribble and pull up, wide open.
You gotta like how Hayden looks for the backdoor cut, but it's not there, and she doesn't throw it away. Stays calm and nails the little jumper that she's so adept at around the free throw line.
Yes, so that faking that pass has really created her a lot of opportunities to be open this season.
All right, let's take a look at the next play now.
All right, we got Hayden getting straight up post moves on the right side, is able to overpower her girl and knock down that layup.
You get to see the kind of the range that we're talking about with Hayden. We showed her hitting the three-pointer, showed her the little midway jumper, then down low. So you got to love that all-around game that she has, right?
Yes, she's been working on it.
Okay, let's take a look at the next play.
All right, we got Cantu giving off to Peyton. Peyton sees that they're playing off her. She has a knockdown three-pointer that she's been working on all season.
All right, this is 1 of 7 threes on the night. You guys actually hit 7 threes and only 5 twos during the game. So pretty interesting to see that.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the next play.
All right, now we have Cheyenne attacking and hitting the corner. That is Lacey Evans knocking down that three-pointer.
And she did not hesitate to pull the trigger on that one, right?
Not at all.
You got to like to see that. Again, 1 of 7 threes on the night. In fact, I think we're going to take a look now at the shot chart coming up here, and there you see it. A lot of long-range efficiency there. You guys shot 41% from outside. You got to love that.
Yes, and that speaks to a lot of us setting up our offense and slowing things down and finding those opportunities where those shots are. Would love to have more on the transition game. I think that's why we're kind of struggling on the inside, but we got that to work on.
All right. Taking a look at Manville's shot chart. They only hit 4 of 18 from outside. Lots of inside. They were kind of a lot of those transition pockets right there. Is that what we're seeing there, right?
Yes, we were in a zone early in the game, and some of those three-pointers is where those came from. We switched into a man and was able to contain that, and we were able to hold them away from the three-point line. Okay,
so once again, the final score, 72-31. Doesn't look pretty, but again, in the second half, you guys were only outscored 35-23. So you guys were finally able to kind of handle that pressure that had caused 40 turnovers and kind of rebound a little bit at that point, right?
Yes.
All right, player of the game was Cheyenne Lang. 8 points in this one, 3 rebounds, 2 3-pointers. Just talk a little bit about her play in this game.
She was able to help us stay high speed and getting past the court. Hayden and her working together to help get that offense set up really helped us overcoming those challenges, really keeping her head up and being the point guard for our team to bounce back and keep our heads in the game.
How difficult is it to, it seems like you guys have been a second half team, kind of some struggles to score early, but you bounce back in the second half, and how much does that encourage you, seeing that your message is getting through at halftime and they're still playing hard?
It definitely helps a lot because halftime is that time for us to reflect on what are we struggling with the most, whether it's boxing out, whether it's rebounding, whether it's getting back. So giving them that, hey, this is what's going on. Let's focus on this part of the game because these are working. They're really able to take that and take heed to that and go in. And we always tell them the second half is a whole nother game. The amount of points you scored first half, you can double. Like there's opportunities, a whole new half. So we've been like breeding that into them all season. So I think it's really, being something they're taking heed to.
And you mentioned in that second half that Manville was getting so frustrated that you were pleasantly smiling to yourself knowing that she had to call a timeout to make adjustments to what you guys were doing.
Yeah, Coach Marshall, he had to call a timeout because the girls were really just bringing up that intensity and was able to force them to cause 3 turnovers. So really made us feel like, okay, now let's turn the fire on them and really amp the girls up to let's get going, and that confidence and from the shooting ability, you just see that the whole shift in their mindsets.
All right. Last game of the season's going to be played later today. Just how do you reflect on it on the season? I mean, this is your first year.
Yeah,
a lot of learning, obviously.
It's definitely a lot of learning the girls, learning the high school speed of things, the schedule, the trial and error. But what I've definitely learned is I got a group of girls that are willing to fight, and just keeping them motivated and keeping them inspired. And as we go into off season, start working strategically on the things that the girls want to grow in their game and add to it. I want us to be more of a transition team. I want us to go full speed at all times, get the ball down the floor, and that's what we're going to be working on off season. So we got one more game to go tonight. I want them to put their hearts out on the floor, and let's end on a good note and give Dawson a run for their money.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds like a plan. And you're going to want to stick with us because we're going to speak to Kaylin Griggs and Hayden Holloway and get their thoughts about how the season's gone. So you want to stick with us for that. All right, we'll see you here in just a second. All right, welcome back. And we've got a couple of players joining us. First, we're going to talk to Kaylin Griggs, and you're a freshman. So I know the season's kind of flown by. Just tell us what you felt with the season and how it kind of went.
I felt like it went by really, really quick. There were a lot of highs and lows of the season. I feel like a lot of the lows really brought the team together as a whole.
Okay. And when you talk about your game, how did you see your game grow during the year?
I feel more comfortable as a guard if I needed to go out there and do that. I must play post, but I feel comfortable as a guard. My shooting has gotten a lot better. I've really seen that grow. So.
Okay. Yeah, in that last game you had 6 rebounds, so you were down low a little bit more there. Just talk a little bit as well, what kind of areas in your game that you like and where you'd like to kind of improve on your game?
I would definitely like to improve on my shooting. I feel like that's something that a lot of good players need, and that's definitely something I want to improve on.
Okay. All right. Hayden, you're the junior. Talk a little bit about how you felt this season went. I know it's kind of flown by and your last game's coming up.
Yeah, I agree. It's gone really quick. This year has been very different from last year. We've had a lot of rough areas, players quitting, players going down to JV, up to varsity. It's just been a lot, but I feel like we've really came together as a team, and I feel like every game we're improving.
And how much did you kind of step up and kind of lead with all that chaos kind of going on? You kind of had to be a leader. How did you kind of step up and take charge kind of a little bit?
I just tried to keep a positive mindset and just remind everyone that we still have another game. Like, it's going to be all right. We're all going to be all right. And we just got to keep going. We got to keep pushing.
Okay. In this last highlight reel, we showed you hitting the three-pointer. We showed you hitting the little jumper from the free throw line and then down low. Just talk a little bit about your game overall and how you've kind of seen it kind of grow during this year.
I think my shooting's gotten a lot better, and like my moves, like pump faking and doing jab steps, like coach is always reminding me to do that. And I feel like that's gotten a lot better. I feel like I've been more aggressive down low and like not afraid to go up. And I think overall I just improved a lot this year.
Okay. This kind of question, whoever wants to kind of jump in on this, but what is your fondest memory of this year's basketball season?
I really enjoyed our tournament in Georgetown. The trip, just all in all, was really, really fun.
Okay. For you, Hayden?
I think my favorite memory was our coming back from away games, especially when we got like a program sweep and we all just like singing and coming together on the bus, and it shows that no matter win or loss, like we're a family.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Also, last question, I swear, last question after this. Yesterday was the last practice. How's that feel? Are you glad no more? We're not talking about practice anymore, or are you kind of sad that it's already come?
I mean, I'm glad the running's over. I was tired of that. But we have a senior leaving, and we are really going to miss her. So that's a little sad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad because trying to balance school and basketball, it's hard, but it's just like making me realize that next year is really going to be my last year, and how I only have so many of these games and practices left. And it was just like seeing a senior leave this year was like a really emotional moment. But I'm glad for end season. We're going to work hard, and I'm ready for next season.
Okay, that's what we'd like to hear. Well, thank you for both joining us and sharing your thoughts on the season, and good luck against Dawson. All right?
Thank you.
All right, and stick with us. We'll have a little wrap-up right after this break. All righty, welcome back. All right, a few last words after hearing from the girls. What do you have to say?
I love that they have been able to enjoy the season. It's definitely been challenging with being pushed the way they have been pushed. But I'm excited. Everyone was coachable and receptive to feedback, and I'm so excited to go into the second year. And I know these girls. It's not an introduction like it was this summer. So I'm super excited to help build this program to grow and be successful.
All right. Well, it's been an awesome first year, riding the highlights, sometimes the lowlights, but it's all been fun. We appreciate you joining us and being part of this. And I'm going to let you do the sign-off as usual.
All right, as you know, Jacket Pride never dies.